This is the ZNS Network, providing radio and high-definition television services for the entire Bahamas. ZNS Network is operated by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. It is located at Harcourt Rusty Bethel Drive, Centerville, Nassau. Our programming is designed to inform, educate, and entertain. We invite you to join us.
The following is the preamble of the Constitution of the Bahamas, which was made on June 20th, 1973, and came into operation July 10th, 1973.
Whereas 481 years ago, the rediscovery of this family of islands, rocks and keys, heralded the rebirth of the New World. And whereas the people of this family of islands, recognizing that the preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and an abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. Now, know we therefore, we the inheritors of and successors to this family of islands, recognizing the supremacy of God and believing in the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual, do hereby proclaim in solemn praise the establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation, founded on spiritual values, and in which no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone, or their labor exploited, or their lives frustrated by deprivation, and do hereby provide by these articles for the indivisible unity and creation under God of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
To say the numbers are climbing by the day is a huge understatement. In a matter of months, COVID-19 has infected hundreds of thousands around the world, killing an equally disturbing number. Join us on the Morning Edition for ongoing coverage of this global pandemic. That's the Morning Edition at 8 a.m. here on the ZNS Network.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Queen breaks her silence on COVID. The health minister gives an update on the pandemic's impact locally, and the country mourns the loss of a veteran physician. Good morning, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and this is your Morning Edition. In what's being dubbed a rare televised address, Queen Elizabeth II on Sunday spoke to the increasingly challenging time COVID-19 has brought with it. the disruption, the financial difficulties, the grief, the anguish. The Queen, however, assured Britons, and by extension the Commonwealth of which the Bahamas is a member, that should they remain united and resolute, they will overcome. Further, she acknowledged the acts of kindness, telling the Commonwealth we should take comfort that while we may have more still to endure, better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. We will meet again. The Queen and Prince Philip left Buckingham Palace last month to self-isolate. At last report, their son, 71-year-old Prince Charles, was in good health following his coronavirus diagnosis late March. Sunday's televised address is said to have been the Queen's first in nearly 20 years. Well, back here at home, the numbers keep rising, with the Bahamas reporting another COVID-19 death as well as another positive case. The deceased 72-year-old veteran healthcare specialist, Dr. Judson Enyas. The Ministry of Health confirming that Dr. Enyas was one of many on the front line trying to treat and protect Bahamians in this ongoing fight. Dr. Enyas is said to have tested positive for COVID-19 on April 1st, battling the illness in hospital. He died on Sunday, the fifth such death in the country. A renowned nephrologist, Dr. Enyas established the dialysis services at Doctors Hospital. He is also the founder and medical director of Renal Med Associates Medical Center. Outside of his medical career, however, Dr. Enyas, who's fondly remembered as caring, dedicated, compassionate, and God-fearing, founded the Gentlemen's Club. He was also a member of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity. As for the newly confirmed case, the 48-year-old woman has no history of travel. At last report, she was in hospital. Well, since then, Health Minister, the Honorable Dr. Dwayne Sands, shared this update with our Lloyd Allen.
Dr. Sands, obviously we're now up to about 29 cases. 5 persons are confirmed dead as a result of COVID-19 and a number of persons in quarantine. What can you tell us about those persons and their condition, those in quarantine?
There are a number of people in quarantine and there are a number of people hospitalized. All of the persons quarantined or isolated at home are in stable condition. We monitor persons remotely using virtual means. We record temperatures and other.
Dr. Sands, obviously we're now up to about 29 cases. 5 persons are confirmed dead as a result of COVID-19 and a number of persons in quarantine. What can you tell us about those persons and their condition, those in quarantine?
There are a number of people in quarantine and there are a number of people hospitalized. All of the persons quarantined or isolated at home are in stable condition. We monitor persons remotely using virtual means. We record temperatures and other signs. The persons in hospital, the majority of them are stable, and a few are ill and several are critical.
Those persons in critical, what's the number of persons in critical condition? And as you've monitored, any good news coming out of that?
I will be giving a full report to the public in the House of Assembly this morning. And so we will apprise the Bahamian public of the complete situation report in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas as it relates to COVID-19. The Prime Minister will speak this morning. I believe that the Minister of Finance, although I'm not sure, but then I, as Minister of Health, will give a complete report on an update on COVID-19 in the Bahamas.
And then finally, what can you tell us? Obviously, some good news coming in from China. We've had 1,000 test kits for COVID-19 donated by the Chinese government. What does that mean for your efforts moving forward?
It was a very important gift towards maintaining our capacity to test widely for COVID-19. As you know, the idea of testing all persons that appear with significant symptoms of COVID who meet the case definition, and in some instances even more liberally than that, is the way to beat this disease and flatten this curve. And so to have received such a generous gift from the People's Republic of China adds immeasurably to our ability to do what we are mandated to do to care for our people. And so we are deeply appreciative. We find that we have excellent bilateral relationships with the Chinese government and people, and they have been collaborating with us, and we look forward to building on that relationship moving forward.
In regards to those healthcare workers, what is the regularity for their testing as far as, I know you said before you're observing conditions and symptoms, but how regularly are those persons in the healthcare field being tested?
We have an augmented approach towards healthcare workers as it relates to their status. Bear in mind that we have to draw this very delicate balance, and we put the safety and the health of individuals first. And so for those people that have a heightened risk, then we use a different algorithm than we do for other persons. But you should expect to hear an update on that even when we go to the House today.
Dr. Dwayne Sands, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Well, a heavy-hearted opposition leader also mourning Dr. Eneas's passing. Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Davis, in a release, touted Dr. Eneas as a giant of a man, a Bahamian patriot, a health professional leader, a youth leader, a colleague, and personal friend. Judson, he said, was indeed a man of all seasons, a national treasure, and a son of the soil who loved the Bahamas deeply. His passing, said Davis, has left a huge leadership void, and those who remain have a moral responsibility to memorialize his legacy of nation building through love and service. Meantime, as you just heard, legislators are expected to return to the lower chamber later this morning. It's expected that at that time, the Prime Minister will further discuss emergency orders amid this global pandemic. As you just heard, the Health Minister will also give an update on where things stand. Now, this on the heels of the country just 3 hours ago coming out of a weekend-long lockdown that saw the closure of all businesses, save hospitals, security forces, emergency units of core utilities, and hotels with gas. Since then, a food shopping schedule has been issued starting today. Those of you with the last name beginning A through F have been slotted for Mondays and Wednesdays 6 a.m. to noon and Thursdays 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Surnames beginning with the letters G through O can shop on Mondays and Wednesdays 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. and again on Fridays 6 a.m. to noon. Surnames P through Z will be allowed to enter grocery stores Tuesdays and Fridays 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. and Thursdays 6 a.m. to noon. Of course, special provisions have been made for those 60 years and older and the disabled, and that's Tuesday 6 a.m. to noon or the day assigned to their last name. Now, as a safety measure, each household should have a designated shopper who will bring proof of identification. Physical distancing protocols must also be adhered to at all times. Meantime, the island of Bimini is said to be well prepared for COVID-19, and this despite recording the first local coronavirus death. The island's already put in place quarantine facilities and is ensuring that its healthcare measures can handle that island's demands. Betty Thompson-Moss has that.
As the world fights a global pandemic, this northern island marks a COVID-19 death. Bimini's 2,000 residents, like the rest of the Bahamas, grapple with the situation, but braced under weekend lockdown.
Persons are really saddened, frightened, more than anything else. So it's really affecting the community. And I guess, and angry in some cases, but we are saddened by what has happened, and more importantly, we're trying to take heed to everything that the government is implementing.
The initiative ended at 5 this morning, but Biminites apparently had no problem abiding by a curfew. Administrator Cleola Pinder reported clear streets in Bimini.
We are really pleased that the government has implemented a lockdown. There are persons here in Bimini that feel it should be longer, especially the fact that we know that the first COVID death was in Bimini. And so persons are, they're frightened. And so even if we was to implement, let's say, a 14 6-day curfew for the entire island, persons would embrace that, I'm sure.
Now, Bimini's clinic is reopening today. The facility closed following the death of Kim Johnson-Rowe, a resident who was treated at the clinic prior to being airlifted to New Providence. She was the country's first COVID-19 death. But officials in Bimini have measures in place for other medical emergencies on the island.
We're very grateful to Dr. Cyprian Strawn, who has a private clinic here in Bimini. And so we actually spoke to him prior to our clinic being compromised and asked him if we were able to use his facility in the event the government clinic became compromised. And so when that happened, I contacted him and we activated our backup clinic, so we deal with emergencies. In fact, right after the death of Kim Rowe, we had an emergency and a birth actually at the backup clinic. So, yes, we're prepared for emergencies in another facility.
As the nation took steps early in the year to address its COVID-19 challenges, Administrator Pinder and a task force team took a proactive stance as the island is situated just 50 miles from the United States with a number of ports and wide attraction from visitors.
Even before the death, we had one.
Well, it appears residents across the Bahamas took those lockdown measures seriously. Here's media owner and journalist Silbert Mills with a weekend assessment over in Abaco.
You could expect there was virtually no vehicular traffic, 1 or 2 persons on the streets, and they were like pretty close to their own homes. But the people of Abaco seems to have had adhered to the curfew regulations with a lockdown. Again, I was about today after doing a virtual church service today and went about, and once again, it was very, very quiet. Absolutely no vehicles in sight for miles. And I traveled from Marsh Harbor to Treasure Key and passed one vehicle and then a police vehicle en route to Treasure Key that was maintaining law and order to make sure people were complying with the curfew.
According to Mills, residents are also preparing for today's new shopping schedule.
In ourselves, if we felt they would have been.
Do apologize that there is the wrong insert. Coming up, Bahamian students share their experiences in lockdown across the globe. You're watching the Morning Edition. Stay with us.
Self-isolation means taking simple steps to avoid close contact with other people as much as possible, as you would with the seasonal flu. If you've been in close contact with somebody confirmed with COVID-19 or suspect that you have it, self-isolate for 14 days. You can self-isolate by staying indoors and away from family for 14 days. Choose a well-ventilated room with a closed door. Household members should stay in a different room, or if that is not possible, maintain a distance of at least 3 feet. Use a sealed waste basket and double bag your waste before disposal. Limit movement in your house. Stay in your assigned space away from the rest of the household. The caretaker will bring food and anything else you need. Use separate cookery and cutlery. Use a separate bathroom and clean it regularly. Use separate towels, separate cleaning linens, and clothing. If you are in need of care by household members, limit the number of caregivers. Assign one person who is in good health and has minimum risk conditions. Most importantly, remember, do not invite others over. Should you or anyone you know feel that you've been exposed to the coronavirus, contact the COVID-19 hotline at the Ministry of Health immediately. To reach us, call 376-9350, 376-9387, 300-2619, or our 24-hour hotline at 502-7382. For more information, visit covid19.gov.bs.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Ministry of Health and this television station.
Welcome back to the morning edition. Bahamians impacted by the border closure over the United States are still hoping they can soon return home. Consul General in Atlanta, Astra Ambrista Rolls, spoke to us on the matter.
In the state of Georgia, Governor Kemp has mandated a statewide stay-in-place order through April 13th and has closed schools for the remainder of the school year. The consulate remains open to the public via telephone and email only. We encourage Bahamians to utilize our emergency contact number if they need to communicate with us with urgency. We communicate regularly with the public through our social media accounts and our website. Consular officers continue to liaise with Bahamians in our jurisdiction who are displaced by our border closure. We encourage them to register with the consulate via the website so that they remain in contact and we can supply them with information from the capital in the most timely manner. Bahamians in the jurisdiction are encouraged to contact the consulate with any questions or concerns they may have while our borders remain closed.
Well, Bahamian students across the world impacted by COVID-19 having to make adjustments to accommodate social distancing protocols, and civil engineering student Rashad Swain is no different. Swain, a student at Dalhousie University in Halifax, Canada, shares how he's had to adjust.
So far during this pandemic has been, life has completely changed. We work from home. Only the essential places are open. We're not entirely on lockdown per se, but we, like the food stores and the banks and everything, they're like restricted hours and everyone's practicing social distancing for the most part.
Rashad Swain is a civil engineering student at Dalhousie University in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. He says he's adjusted to the protocols now implemented as a result of COVID-19. Some include limitations in elevators and calls for social distancing. But to pass the time, he keeps a simple schedule.
I try and have a routine in place to have some kind of normality. I would wake up early, read for about 30 minutes. We'll have breakfast and read for about 30 minutes or so. Start work, get off work, and then exercise for a bit, to try and stay healthy and keep my mind and body right.
So far, Nova Scotia has confirmed 262 cases of COVID-19 ranging in ages from 10 to 90 years. 52 people have recovered. He also gave us a glimpse of the outdoors, which had minimal traffic. He says parks have posted signs that could help people find if found trespassing. But for the most part, he says life continues as normal. Rashad says he's been doing some reading, but he's optimistic that everything will work out as it relates to the COVID-19 pandemic.
I am concerned. However, I feel like as long as we continue to social distance and stay inside as much as we can. Like here we could shop online for groceries and stuff like that. So as long as we stay inside and wash our hands, practice the right hygiene and stuff like that, I feel like we'll be okay and life will get back to normal.
Jiminy Swain, ZNS Network News.
Well, Bahamian Hubert Roberts has been living in London, England for the last 20 years. He too is in lockdown. The investor spoke to us about the situation over there.
Yeah, so London's a very quiet place at the moment. You know, there's not a lot of activity in the streets. This is the weekend, and I'll be honest with you, I've never seen it like this. You know, of course, the weather's quite nice, and everybody wants to get out and do stuff. But, you know, due to the lockdown, not everybody can get out. So, you know, at the moment, you know, people are making an attempt, you know, over the past weekend when the weather's really nice, you would see a lot of people out in the park laying out. And, you know, of course, that's prohibited. You know, you can't just be laying out in the park. You have to be, you know, out doing stuff. You know, if you want to go to the store, pick up something, get it and go back in. If you want to take the dog out for a walk, go out, do the dog for a walk, come back in. If you want to jog in the park, that's it. But there's no laying out. This is not a holiday, you know. And I think people are, you know, starting to feel the energy because the weather's getting nice, and you know, you start to feel that when the weather's nice, you know. And I'm quite sure in the Bahamas the weather's nice every day and the sun's shining every day, so you may take that for granted a bit out there. So when they feel it out here, they just want to really get it and do as much as they can to soak up some of the vitamin D, as they say. And you know, I mean, outside of that, you know, the communication with transport, it's to a minimum. Nobody's really doing anything there. There's little transport. Most of it is just really for the workers and people moving around. But for the most part, I mean, everybody's just in their house. They're confined to their spaces, and they're just making the most of it through whatever little activities that they may do as a family. I mean, I've even just started my own little baking thing this past week. I've just started doing baking. So, you know, things like that is what really people are doing to, you know, let the time go by, staying indoors and what have you. But yeah, that's about it. If we're going to be isolated and we're going to be on our own, if we don't have children with us and that sort of thing to, you know, to tend to, I think it's good to just focus on you. And obviously, hopefully the isolation works for everybody in a more positive way, because we know isolation can also be a way to be destroying people. So, yeah, I mean, I just make the best out of my isolation and, you know, in finding new activities, things that interest me.
Well, one of the country's greatest track athletes, Michael Boy Blue Newbold, also feeling the effects of this lockdown. He spoke to us from his home in the United States.
Hey, guys, this is Michael Newbold here at home, in the house. Can't go nowhere, can't do nothing. Guess what? I don't want to go nowhere. I don't want to do nothing. I'm here in Clarksdale, about 72 miles south of Memphis, Tennessee. So, you know, we're on a lockdown, and I'm enjoying it. I got a couple weeks. You know, I'm off from work, so I'm going to stay at home. You know, we went on a 5 o'clock lockdown yesterday. It was at 10 o'clock p.m. Now it's at 5 p.m., but hey, I'm going to enjoy it. Stay in the house, you know, just do a lot of reading, chilling, taking it easy, watching TV, watching the old ESPN clips, you know, listening to a little news, trying to, you know, stay focused on the task at hand, and then that's beating this coronavirus, guys, because it's no joke. This is something that we have to get a hold of, and, you know, y'all need to stay at home. My folks down there in the Bahamas, we had a rough year last year, so let's try to beat this thing so we can, you know, get back to, you know, building that economy down there and getting everything situated for you guys and try to save as much lives as we can. You know, hey, do it for your family, do it for your kids, because this virus is tough and it's coming after everybody. It don't matter. And I'm enjoying being at home. I'm an essential worker, but I'm home for the next 2 weeks. And this is the first day. And I'm feeling pretty good. I think I'm going to enjoy this. Just reach out to your people and let them know how you love them. Let them know you still love them with all that extra time you're going to have. Mingle with the kids, play with the kids, play with the fam, find out what's going on with the extra time you got off. And, you know, hey, let's do it like that. Let's say, stay out these streets, man. Stay out these streets. Let's stay at home. Let's beat this virus, guys, and y'all take it easy. Peace. I love y'all.
You're watching the Morning Edition. More after this. This public service announcement is brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
School is closed, but not for vacation. The global pandemic, COVID-19, continues to spread worldwide. Here's what you can do to keep yourself safe. If you have a headache, runny nose, sneeze, or cough, stay at home until you feel better. When you cough or sneeze, cover your mouth or nose with a bent elbow and dispose of the used tissue immediately. If symptoms persist, call the COVID-19 hotline at 376-9350 or 376-9387. Remember, it's safer and smarter.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
The ZNS community page now has its own home on Channel 230. Be sure to tune into this channel to see informative notices, funeral announcements, birthday greetings, and much, much more. So watch the ZNS community channel today on Cable 230.
Welcome back. Back here at home, many had to adjust to the nationwide lockdown. With little to no social interaction outside the home, many of them finding light at the end of the tunnel.
I'm working from home, so being able to keep up with all my work assignments, but also just turning in schoolwork. But I've also been trying to make time to read the Bible and to praise and worship and stuff. Spend more time with the Lord.
I've had plenty of time to actually read. It's important to read because you need to open your mind up to new concepts and ideas to actually further yourself in whichever path you choose to take in life. I've found time to exercise. You got to keep your body healthy, especially in times like these. And it's a lot of time to work on my craft now.
Others say being stuck inside can get mentally challenging, but have found some ways to stay active.
Passing the time, reading, playing video games, watching shows, anime, Netflix, little exercises in the backyard, but there's only so many burpees and push-ups I can do before I get tired of that too. That lack of freedom is that's the worst part about all of this.
With the whole lockdown, with my business, I have used the Zoom app to keep in contact with my clients and to also give out workouts. It's free for anyone who wants to join. I try to take it all in and take it one day at a time and try not to go crazy. But I thank God for life.
Well, no doubt anxiety at a high. Cognitive and behavioral therapist Harrison Thompson gives us some tips on how one can get a better hold on things at this time.
What I think is good for the listening and the viewing public to know, you cannot defeat anxiety in your mind. A lot of people think that they can outthink anxiety. A lot of people feel as though they can simply defeat it in their head, but they cannot. You have to take anxiety outside of your mind. So I often advise people to get to a piece of paper, right? Write down the things that you fear, write down the things that you feel as though you are struggling to control, and allow yourself to kind of flow with that. When that part of the exercise is done, write down the things that you are actually able to control. By simply labeling what you can and cannot control, your brain is able to release a lot of things that it cannot impact. That reduces anxiety by at least 45%. And so by simply feeling as though I am not as anxious, you find that you're able to take a non-anxious approach to your situation, whatever that may be. And by focusing your energy on what you are able to control, you're able to see real-time results with your hands. You're able to see real-time results with things that you are able to impact. And that can be peaceful for a lot of people.
Now time for your Monday motivation, and for that we go now to Apostle Dr. Raymond Wells.
Hey, my brothers and sisters, if you are watching this short video, that means you are alive, and you ought to give God praise for life. I want us to go into Psalm 23, a very familiar psalm, and I want this to be our prayer today and for the rest of this week. The Lord is our shepherd. We shall not want. He makes us to lie down in green pastures. He leads us beside still waters. He restores our soul. He leads us in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though we walk through the valleys of this COVID-19, shadows of death, we will fear no evil because you are with us. Your rod and your staff, they comfort us. You prepare us a table in the presence of our enemies. You anoint our head with oil. Our cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus the Christ, I pray for my brothers and sisters all around the globe. May you bless them. May you keep and protect them. May you lift up your countenance upon them, and may you give them your peace. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen and amen. God bless you now.
The Ministry of Health is working to ensure the safety of the Bahamian people. Help us minimize the risk that coronavirus poses to citizens, residents, and visitors by following these 5 easy steps. Step 1. Wet your hands with clean water. Apply soap and lather for 20 seconds by rubbing them together. Include the top of your hands between your fingers and under your fingernails. Rinse your hands under clean water, then dry them with a paper towel or air dry them. Remember to wash your hands before and after eating, preparing a meal, changing a diaper, or caring for the sick, and always after using the bathroom, touching money, shaking hands, or taking out the trash. Step 2. Cough and sneeze in your elbow or upper sleeve, not in your hands, not in the air. Or you can cover your nose and mouth with a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Put your used tissue in the trash bin when you're finished. Remember to wash your hands with soap and clean water after you cough or sneeze. Also, remember never to spit on the ground, roads, or in open spaces. Step 3. Ensure that raw meat is properly handled and cooked thoroughly. Step 4. Avoid sharing drinking glasses, eating utensils like spoons and forks, or sharing personal items such as toothbrushes and towels. Germs can live on surfaces we touch, so wipe and disinfect surfaces where germs can live, and keep your surroundings clean. Step 5. Avoid close contact with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illness, such as coughing or sneezing. Should you or anyone you know feel that you have been exposed to the coronavirus, contact the surveillance unit of the Ministry of Health immediately. To reach us, call 502-4776, 502-4790, or 502-4737. We want Bahamians and those that live with and visit us to remain safe from the coronavirus. To do this, we need the help of each and every one of you to follow the simple steps we have shared. Let's stay safe, Bahamas.
The following is a public service announcement by the Honorable Lanisha T. Roll, Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture is that arm of government responsible for facilitating social development through youth, sports, and culturally engaging activities. This is the voice of your Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Lanisha Roll, announcing the ministry's temporary electronic social development activity platform. The spread of COVID-19 or the coronavirus has resulted in the government's implementation of public health and safety measures, inclusive of quarantines, curfew, social distancing, and stringent hygiene practices. These measures are proactive and have effectively proven to limit the spread of the disease among people. We appreciate that being in confined spaces for long periods can be uncomfortable. Hence, for the benefit of the general public, Over the next few days, the ministry will electronically publish and share safe social distancing activities that lend themselves to continued social development, albeit in confined spaces. Departments under our remit will provide guidelines for small team-building activities, at-home games for youth and family, effective indoor and yard exercises, as well as activities for cultural engagement through quick and easy projects that promote artistic expression. These communications can be accessed via the ministry's webpage and Facebook media for your enjoyment. Remember that how well and how soon we defeat this pandemic depends on how all of us cooperate to protect each of us. On behalf of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, I thank every citizen, resident, and guest within the Commonwealth of the Bahamas for exercising patience, understanding, and cooperation during this period.
This was a public service announcement by the Honorable Lanisha T. Roll, the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and this television station.
The Ministry of Health wishes to advise members of the public that prevention is key during this flu season. Practicing good cough hygiene can make the difference between you and your loved ones getting the flu or spreading the influenza virus. Good cough hygiene habits include covering your mouth and nose with a tissue when coughing or sneezing, and proper disposal of the tissue in a trash bin. Coughing or sneezing into your upper sleeve near your inner elbow and not your hands when a tissue is not available. Avoiding the use of handkerchiefs and towels as they hold germs, becoming a nest for the virus. And frequently washing your hands with soap and water, which is listed as one of the most important steps you can take to avoid getting sick and passing the virus on to others. If you have any questions about how to practice good cough hygiene to avoid catching or spreading the flu, contact your nearest community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
Welcome back now to our daily commute, and for that we turn to our Lloyd Allen.
Traffic Report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Bahamas. This morning we're in the location of Solomon's. This is right off the east-west highway, and already it's just a few hours past 5 a.m. and dozens of persons already on the line attempting to get on the inside. Now, I would hope that those persons are based on that shopping schedule that the Prime Minister would have previously released. Of course, those shops will be expected to hold that policy and adhere to that. This morning, I'm also joined by Sergeant Cressenia Johnson from the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division, who's going to talk to us about developments over the weekend when it comes to persons adhering to the 24-hour curfew. Good morning, Officer Johnson.
A pleasant good morning to you, and a pleasant good morning, Bahamas. Well, coming from the overnight period, we've had 5 accidents. One of those accidents involved minor injury. One of those accidents involved a hit and run. We also marked the fact that majority of those accidents came from that Friday rush. You had a lot of individuals who, once the report was given, they were excited. Some persons panicked a bit, and they ended up getting into these traffic accidents, getting into altercations. So we then want to advise the general public as much as possible to not panic as much as possible. Remain calm, try to plan ahead, try to get anything that you need to get done in a timely fashion, even try some carpooling effort, all right? There's no need to panic. At this time, just plan, like I said.
And so some great information, of course, carpooling virtually because, again, there's one designated shopper per household. And so, of course, again, that shopping list was previously mentioned. Persons from I don't remember the exact numbers, but, of course, it's on the ZNS page. There's a specific list of persons who can shop this morning. It's cut out basically in 2 segments, half of today and then another segment from 1 to about 7. And that staggers
goes through until Friday. There's no shopping on the weekend. And so, of course, the Prime Minister will update the nation on further efforts as we as a country continue to attack this issue called COVID-19. One final issue before we wrap up here. Officer Johnson, obviously a number of persons arrested over the weekend when it comes to not abiding by that 24-hour curfew. Talk to us about some of those extreme circumstances that officers were faced with.
Okay, but we still have some matters under investigation. And I just wanted to say, when it came to matters that involve where entering into our urban areas, you have some persons who were rather upset that their family members were taken into custody. So as before they get into those situations, remember now, the police only there to enforce the law and, as much as possible, try to calm the situation down and get in and out, all right, safely, because everybody wants to go home safely, yes. At the same time, we're asking the general public to cooperate with law enforcement officers as they conduct their duties. This is a trying time for this nation, and we need to get through this together. We can only get through it together. So we need to work with each other and try to be cooperative, try to be understanding as much as possible. So that's all I can say on that matter, as it is still under investigation. You see it going around on social media. We see a number of persons who are hiding from police officers. If you've seen the videos that I saw, persons who are ducking and staying out past, coming out of their homes and into their communities while this is going on. These are stuff that we want to discourage as much as possible. Try not to make that person who's getting taken into police custody just to avoid you being on the street. As much as possible, stay within your home and let's abide by the rules that's enforced.
Now, of course, over the weekend, some great reports coming in from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, who indicated that on Saturday and Sunday, it was a great operation as a majority of persons were off the streets. And so, again, while that seems has transformed this morning, much more persons on the road, we want to advise the general public, again, only those persons going out for essential purposes. Again, there should be a designated shopper per household, and a person should be go out with a shopping list. Know specifically what you want so that you're not all over the place. You're only out for a specific amount of time. You can get out, get back in safely and healthy. Again, COVID-19 is very real. You want to protect yourself and your families. Wear masks where possible. Protect yourself where possible. As you can see right behind me as well, these persons are observing social distancing. And like many stores, that's been the mandate coming in from government as we continue as a country and a nation to attack COVID-19. Reporting here from Solomon's off the East-West Highway, Lloyd Allen, McCushla, back to you in studio.
Well, thanks, Lloyd. Some great advice there. We now present you more of the Queen's COVID-19 message.
I also want to thank those of you who are staying at home, thereby helping to protect the vulnerable and sparing many families the pain already felt by those who have lost loved ones. Together we are tackling this disease, and I want to reassure you that if we remain united and resolute, then we will overcome it. I hope in the years to come, everyone will be able to take pride in how they responded to this challenge. Across the Commonwealth and around the world, we have seen heartwarming stories of people coming together to help others, be it through delivering food parcels and medicines, checking on neighbours, or converting businesses to help the relief effort. And though self-isolating may at times be hard, many people of all faiths and of none are discovering that it presents an opportunity to slow down, pause and reflect in prayer or meditation. Today, once again, many will feel a painful sense of separation from their loved ones. But now as then, we know deep down that it is the right thing to do. While we have faced challenges before, this one is different. This time we join with all nations across the globe in a common endeavour, using the great advances of science and our instinctive compassion to heal. We will succeed, and that success will belong to every one of us. We should take comfort that while we may have more still to endure, better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. we will meet again. But for now, I send my thanks and warmest good wishes to you all.
Well, we have more coming up for you in the morning edition.
Self-isolation means taking simple steps to avoid close contact with other people as much as possible, as you would with the seasonal flu. If you've been in close contact with somebody confirmed with COVID-19 or suspect that you have it, self-isolate for 14 days. You can self-isolate by staying indoors and away from family for 14 days. Choose a well-ventilated room with a closed door. Household members should stay in a different room, or if that is not possible, maintain a distance of at least 3 feet. Use a sealed waste basket and double bag your waste before disposal. Limit movement in your house. Stay in your assigned space away from the rest of the household. The caretaker will bring food and anything else you need. Use separate cookery and cutlery. Use a separate bathroom and clean it regularly. Use separate towels, separate cleaning linens, and clothing. If you are in need of care by household members, limit the number of caregivers. Assign one person who is in good health and has minimum risk conditions. Most importantly, remember, do not invite others over. Should you or anyone you know feel that you've been exposed to the coronavirus, contact the COVID-19 hotline at the Ministry of Health immediately. To reach us, call 376-9350, 376-9387, 300-2619, or our 24-hour hotline at 502-7382. For more information, visit covid19.gov.bs.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, your hottest place on the planet for rims, tints, tires, and auto sales. We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Track Lights, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king. Blessed luck. That's how Rough Riders roll.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
School is closed, but we are not on vacation. The GLAT, BJC, and BGCSE examinations are still on. Use this time wisely by preparing for these national examinations. Remember, your success depends on you.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Launch authorization received. Counseling.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
My dear students, the Ministry of Education wants to ensure that your education continues while you're on this break, away from school. It is important that you continue with your lessons. Therefore, we would like for you to go to the Ministry of Education's webpage and register. That's the ministryofelucationbahamas.com and register on the Virtual Learning tab. Go to the Ministry of Education webpage, that is ministryofelucationbahamas.com, and register on the Virtual Learning tab. Very important that you continue your education.
Well, it's time for our morning forecast, and currently outside of our studios, we're under cloudy skies. The temperature at 75 degrees. Relative humidity, 73%. We have a southeast wind at 7 miles per hour. The barometric pressure, 1,016.0 millibars. That's 30.00 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the islands this morning in Bimini and Abaco, 69 degrees. We have 68 degrees in Green Turkey, also Freeport at 68 degrees. The Berry Islands, warmer at 75, and that's because we have a little troughing boundary just between Grand Bahama and the Berry Islands. 77 in Isle Sound, Bimini, 75 in Harbor Island. Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 75 degrees. Also Isle Sound, Cat Island. Staniel Key, Camp Space, St. Andrews, all at 75. We pick up 76 degrees in Fresh Creek, Central Andros. In San Salvador, the mercury column up to 75 degrees. Also, Rum Key at 75. In Rygat Island, Clarence Town, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay and Acklands, all at 75. Matthew Town in Agua, 77 degrees. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, also at 77 degrees. And it's time for some world forecast temperatures. Selected cities have been determined for you, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
I used to know that you loved me before. I used to know that you cared. But ever since you gone and left me, girl, I knew someone else would be there. But you got me thinking, you got me thinking, Lord of mercy. You got me thinking, girl, but the good times we had. Think about that now.
And that's going to do it for your world forecast temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. Now we take you to our boating forecast for today for all areas. A pretty nice day, at least wind-wise. The speeds are going to be 10 to 15 knots out of the east. However, we do have an area of low pressure well to the north and east of the Bahamas that will continue to generate some deep swells, which will create some turbulent conditions around the coastal areas of the Bahamas today. So despite the fact that we have those light winds of 10 to 15 knots, the wave heights will be 2 to 4 feet, but those swells will take it anywhere up to 7 to 8 feet during the course of the day. Your high tide, that takes place at 6:59 with a low tide at 1:19 this afternoon. And as we take a look at our satellite picture, we see this broad area of cloudiness from Grand Bahama all the way down to the Exuma Keys. That's associated with a lingering trough, which will continue to generate cloudiness with some embedded showers and thunderstorms as well. But most of those thunderstorms our models are depicting will take place around the Grand Bahama and Bimini areas later on today. So if you live in Grand Bahama and Bimini, well, we're asking you to simply stay indoors during those periods of heavy showers and thunderstorms later on today. However, in the central and southeastern parts of the country, not too bad. We still have mostly sunny conditions. Temperatures going to be climbing up into the 80s, as you'll see when we get to our extended weather forecast. But this system will continue to linger around through tomorrow, but by the middle of the week, it will start lifting towards the north, so we will see some clearing as we head towards the weekend. Our forecast for today calls for mostly cloudy conditions with a couple of showers. That's in the lower portion of the northwest Bahamas, which includes the Providence. However, as we said earlier, in the extreme northwest around Grand Bahama, Abaco, and the Biminis, they could experience some heavy showers and thunderstorms as a result of that lingering trough. Temperature-wise, we should get up to about 82 degrees, and this is how your temperature should trend during the course of the day. Right now, we're just around the 70-degree mark, but temperatures will gradually start climbing, and we should peak out sometime around 1 p.m. this afternoon, reaching about 80 degrees. We have a dip in the early afternoon, and then things will start climbing again. Peaking at 3 o'clock, that's where we'll have our maximum temperature of 82 degrees today. And we take you now to our forecast for tonight. We're looking at mostly cloudy with a couple of showers lingering, particularly late and during the early morning hours. The low temperature should get down to about 70 degrees tonight. Last night, we were around about the 69-degree mark. And the extended weather forecast, showers continuing into Tuesday. But as we told you already, by Wednesday, that lingering trough will start to lift towards the north. So we'll see some clearing in our skies with an abundance of sunshine returning on Wednesday. And those temperatures climbing into the mid-80s as of Thursday. And that will take us right through the weekend. So a warm, toasty weekend shaping up for you with lots of sunshine in the forecast. And the nighttime temperatures, they're now starting to get back back into the low 70s. Makisha?
Well, thanks, Basil. Now that you have your weather, so a little bit more pick-me-upper for you. And for that, we turn to our videos and pics of what some of you are doing in lockdown.
You got the whole wide world in his hands. You got the whole wide world in his hands. You got the whole... Molly, what else? What else? What else?
Hello, my name is Richard Wright. I'm a proud Special Olympics athlete. Please stay inside. Thank you.
Well, again, just a reminder, keep those videos and pictures coming in on how you're passing the time in the government-imposed lockdown, or if you want to salute those on the front line. Again, the number to call is, the number to send them in, that is 477-0546. And remember to stay tuned to the ZNS Network, your best choice for local, regional, and international COVID-19 coverage. We are the only station providing you with live radio and television updates throughout the day, giving you up-to-the-minute information. Our coverage continues at 10 on radio and then at 2 on the television network. Good morning, everyone.
But the good times we had. This is my favorite voice right here. Watch this. Oh, how I miss you in my life. Now my life is so incomplete. Every time I lay down my head, girl, you know I miss you in my bed. You got me thinking. You got me thinking, Lord of mercy. You got me thinking, girl, about the good times we had. Now that I've found...
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
In developing countries like the Bahamas, women make essential contributions to agriculture. And just like those countries, here at home, the effort is being recorded. In this episode of Agriculture Now, we'll introduce you to several female farmers, as well as highlight industry prospects for job employment consideration. Hello, I'm Carla Palmer, and this is Agriculture Now. In today's program, they are mothers, wives, and daughters, with no family strings attached except they all share a common bond. They are farmers and entrepreneurs committed to reducing their own food import bill while providing for public consumption.
Everybody, are you on TV? Look, are you on TV? Mom, guess what it is? That's me. Bartender, do you see me? Are you on television? I gotta tell my girlfriend I'm on television. Hello? Babe, turn your television to ZNS. Quick, are you on television?